Okay.
Rolling.
We're going to talk about the distinction of source. What is source? What do you think source is? How do you have it?
Source, my imagination says like flame.
Flame. Creative.
It's what, an author?
Growth. Being an author. Yeah. Anything else? Source. In the drift, it's kind of like sorcerer or something like a wizardry or some kind of magic. Right? Yeah. Source is a noun. What is it? I got a good deal for you, some snake oil.
It sounds like that,
No, well, so the word source is like the root of sorcerer, which is like a wizard, like somebody who has a magic wand that we were talking about. Right? Yeah, so the word source has many meanings in the world, and the way that transformation holds the word source is very distinct. And so we're going to be talking about the transformational term source. So source is the author. Human beings are the uncontested author of their lives. Every one of us, we are uncontested author of our life. Source is the origin, the place of beginning, the birth, the creator, generator, author. So if human being is only ever context, we said that in the last session, a human being is only ever context. Context and source are synonymous and yet distinct. Source is a noun and a verb. I've heard it used both. Right? How many of you have heard people say, oh, I'm sourcing this or I'm sourcing that? Right? It's a verb, like they're creating or they're generating, right? Or I'm authoring. You can use it as a verb. It's also a noun, meaning I am the source, I am the origin, I am the creator, I am the author, I am the birthplace. Now, what do you think this distinction, what's the importance of this distinction in the work of transformation? It is huge, it is huge. And what's the value in knowing that? What's the importance of it?
It's what you create. So the way that you were explaining before, the way you're being, what you're sourcing, right? It's gonna show up in your life.
Yes.
So if you're being kind, then you're gonna have kind people around you, right? If you're being bitter, then
And how about this? Even if I'm being kind, I'm gonna throw curveballs and just play devil's advocate.
Yes.
How about that? Like, we'll just throw it all out on the table and play with it. Even if I'm declaring myself to be kind, and I am being kind, my actions and my doingness are congruent with being kind, and then my results are showing up. So what if what shows up are people who are miserable and complainers and difficult to be around and just challenging?
so you still be kind.
So it's your opportunity. Oh, you declared to be kind. Great.
Yes.
Go for it. Do it. Be kind.
Yes.
Right? It's your opportunity to experience being kind. How many of you know the moment we declare something, everything unlike it shows up? And it's to give you the opportunity to experience what you said, what you declared. I declared myself to be kind, so now I'm going to have difficult people show up in my space so I can have the opportunity to, and the opportunity, it's a good thing, yay, to be kind. Right? It's powerful.
As opposed to the good, bad,
Good, bad, and ugly?
that we can create also.
Yes, so you can be sourced for anything. We can be sourced for anything.
In fact, probably we are, like, it's like, we are.
Yes, we are sourced, right, exactly. And we can choose to be sourced for anything, but we are inevitably sourced. Like, there's no saying, okay, today I'm not gonna be sourced. I'm taking a day off, guys, vacation time. It doesn't work that way. A human being is only context. Human being is always source. What we have, what shows up in our space, our experiences, is all a place to look at. What am I creating? What am I authoring? What's the lesson here? What's the opportunity here? What's the invitation here? What's for me to notice here? How can I course correct? How can I be my gentle GPS speaker? Make a U-turn at your most convenient next opportunity, or whatever they say. Turn around, bitch! Can you imagine? Can you imagine? You're so stupid. You always do this, right? I mean, some of our brains have that kind of chatter, and it's crazy. It's crazy when we can just say, okay, what I'm noticing, what I'm doing, who I'm being, such that I'm doing what I'm doing, such that I'm having what I'm having is not working. I'm not being a source. I am being a source for what I don't want. Better said that way. I am being the source for what I'm not wanting. And standing in a place of responsibility, of ownership. Now, responsibility, let's play with that word a little bit because I think it goes well with source. Responsibility. Okay?
Responsibility.
Very good. So English is a great word. English is a great word. So we definitely could have the ability to respond. Definitely that's one way to look at it. Transformation holds it a little bit different. And I think where you're going, if we went down the rabbit hole a little bit with the ability to respond, we'd get to the same place. But most of the time people stop at, oh, I just have the ability to respond. And they glance over it and it's not quite as powerful. But if we take the root word here, sponse. I used to be an English teacher. English to students of other languages. So if we take the root word sponse, it means what? Sponsor. Which is synonymous with source. If I'm sponsoring something, I'm causing something, I'm generating something, I'm birthing something, I am source for something. What was that? An aha moment?
Yes.
Did you just like, oh, I created that? It's powerful to notice, and we can be playful about it, and we can be gentle about it. We don't have to like walk around beating ourselves up and having all of that negative chatter in our brains, and it doesn't serve us ultimately, unless that's what you want to create. But that's the experience.
The story that I created about
Yeah.
source.
Well, human beings are interpretation machines, right? That's a whole different distinction Monday for sure. But we do tell stories. Now, are we the story? No, we're the storyteller. We're the storyteller. We are not the story, we are the storyteller. We are not the thoughts, we are the thinker of the thoughts. We are not the observer, the observations, we are the observer of the observations. We are the chooser choosing. We are sourcing. I don't mean to offend anybody here, but I've heard trainers say that source is like God with a little g. Like, we're powerful. We're powerful. We are the chooser choosing. All of it. And so responsibility means that I'm the sponsor of what's showing up. I'm able, now let's talk about the way that you said it. Now the ability to respond. How many of you remember, this is turning into a responsibility workshop, but I think it's linked. How many of you remember the growth maintenance chart in part 1 where you just go round and round and round on automatic?
Yes.
Yeah, where you're just on automatic, round and round and round and round. I did it in your training? Yeah, great. I love that one, it's powerful. And we talk about being responsible. The ability to creatively respond is only possible when we're able to get off of it, when we're able to stop our automatic reactions, when we're able to stop you know, making up the stories and living into it and projecting the future out of the past and going round and round and round in the maze, in the rat circle, in the hamster wheel, whatever you want to call it. Our ability to stop and get off of it and get present and take a look, that's when we have the ability to creatively respond. And now the ability to creatively respond means what? Choice. Choice is only ever present. Choice is only ever possible in the present. If you're not present, you're not choosing. You're making a decision, you're figuring something out. It's not a choice. The distinction choice only ever happens in the present moment. When I can stop, get off of whatever I got running around in my brain, and have the ability to creatively respond. I had choice. So that is source. That's responsible.
Repeat that again, please.
The ability to creatively respond. Yeah, I have the ability to respond, and that is a choice when I'm present in the moment. And when I'm present in the moment, I'm connected to source. Now, can I source unconsciously? Absolutely. We do it all the time. We're like, wait a minute, how did that show up? Or how did that show up? Or how did I create that? Right? I mean, there's all sorts of things that happen in our lives. We're like, whoa, I didn't create that. Yes, you did. Is that the truth that you did? That you're responsible for it? It's the truth that you did, but are you responsible for it?
If you created it, then you're responsible.
Yeah, but responsibility, remember, responsibility is a choice. Responsibility is a point of view. Responsibility is something I choose because it's a powerful place to stand. It's not the truth.
Walking and then I step on an egg and I can see I'm not responsible for making the egg.
Do you choose to be responsible for breaking the egg?
Oh, I see where you're going.
Yeah, I mean, I could go and okay, let's use the example of walking down the street and I step on an egg and it breaks. I need more water. Yeah, so what is it?
We have a lot of dogs.
Oh, a lot of ducks. Oh, so you're stepping on baby ducks. Oh, bad and wrong.
No, I haven't yet.
Yeah.
And I don't want to source that either.
I don't want to source that.
Yeah.
I don't want to source that. Oh, thank you. We were just talking about this. Every time I'm in a training room environment, I'm like,
Is that a choice?
mhm.
Yes.
It is a choice. I'm sourcing it. I'm authoring it. And I'm stepping left and saying, I am a healthy woman. I'm choosing my way of being, and then my actions will generate my health. Yes.
So when you're talking about like to sponsor, the ability to sponsor and source, this only works in the awareness that it's there. Because I can't be responsible, I don't say I can't be responsible, because, but if I'm speaking to someone and I'm saying the word responsibility to them, like you have to take responsibility, that's not what they hear.
Yeah.
They don't hear, I sponsored this through actions, especially if you're dealing with someone.
Especially if you say you have to take responsibility. You have to take.
Right, yeah, or if someone's had like a traumatic experience and you're like, yeah, well, what's your, you know, taking responsibility in that, they're like, okay, I'm not, it doesn't land
Yeah.
as well, so for me to be, I can't remember the phrase that's corrected, but I'm gonna drop the go to thinking, I can't take responsibility if I'm not aware that I'm creating it, it's just happening to me at that point.
Absolutely. So that's very powerful what you just pointed out. The distinction being responsibility is a choice. Choice only happens in the present moment. In the present moment, I am conscious. I am not on automatic. I'm not subconsciously reacting. So there's a powerful distinction there. Now, does that mean I'm not source for it? Source happens regardless. We are all always source, right? But choosing to be responsible is something that is a choice. It's a point of view. It's a powerful place to stand. It's effective. It works. It serves. Make sense?
The eighth thing kind of threw me a little bit, because I was like, if I
Okay, we're gonna go all the way into victim accountable, you should have been here last week. Not to go off on a tangent, but yes, there's a way that you could totally be fully 100% responsible for stepping on that egg while I was walking, even though I didn't even know it was there, even though I wasn't aware of it, I can still choose to be responsible for it.
I feel like I can choose to be responsible for you being here today.
Yes, I get that.
But it comes from, okay, so who left their house this morning? Who likes to take a walk through the grass?
Yeah.
Who likes to wear shoes that have something on the bottom that breaks stuff? I mean, it's not bad and wrong, not fault and blame, but it's definitely accounting, adding up my actions, my choices, up into that point where the event occurred. I can own how I got there, I'm responsible. I can choose to be responsible. Is it the truth? No. Do I have to be? No. Right? Does that
No, I get it, what I'm speaking into is like, when I'm speaking to someone and using my words wisely, and asking them to look at something, when the word responsible or responsibility comes out of your mouth,
Sure.
a lot of times you lose any kind of like connection with them because what comes up is fault. Like you're saying, it's my fault that I stepped in the egg and I didn't know the egg was there. So I get it from my own perspective. It's, like, I think what I'm saying is just so tricky when you're speaking in like the drift.
Yeah.
People, they want to say like certain things, so it's like it's a little backed up.
Yeah. Well, responsibility in the drift does have a bad rap.
Yes.
I mean, look at the legal system is set up to have it be blame and fault. Lawyers' jobs are, who's at fault? Like, that's what they get paid to determine, right? I mean, that's how it works. Just like the be, do, have model, the media and marketing is set up to have you go, I need to have this, I need to do that in order to be happy. Ladies and gentlemen, the joy you seek is yours to create. Plain and simple. Source. It has nothing to do with what I have. What is that?
Like, I'm Catholic, I'm Catholic,
Uh-huh.
but you never have this kind of like information.
Yeah,
Church.
yeah. Well, the church is one of the entities that gives responsibility the connotation that it has, because it brings in sin and guilt and atonement, and you know what I mean? It brings in all of that. And
Even the word sin means to miss your mark.
technically, and is that how people in the drift are here?
Not at all. It just annoys me that using words.
So what you're saying is very powerful though, because to be masterful living, which is our part 3 of the training, those of you who have done it, you know, it's really practicing living these distinctions in your life. It's living masterfully in your life. And one of the distinctions in masterful living is to communicate in a way that others get you. Communicate in a way that others get you. And so you gotta meet people where they're at. And there's a way that you could be here. There's a way you could be such that your doing of speaking would have the result of them getting you. Think about that. Because it's not always just, oh, they're drifty and I can't communicate with them and they're never going to get it and the way they have it is just immovable and whatever else is going on, right? There's a way that I could be. I could be enrolling. I could be compassionate. I could be connected. I could be loving. I could be forgiving. Yeah. It's such that my actions and my words would show up in a way that would have the other person get me. I would be source for understanding, source for communicating in a way that others get me, source for connection and understanding, source for the experiences that I do want. This is what we're talking about. Question? You realize why you can't say it?
Because I didn't want to.
Oh, yes, please, this is part 1 grads only. Yeah, required. And you're doing part 2 soon?
Yes.
if you're making a powerful choice to be with your family in this time of need, then that's a powerful choice. And you can still boldly say, I will be in part 2 on this date.
What I can say is what.
By when?
What I was doing. Like 2 months.
Yeah.
What I was saying is I was going through my experience and I was really proud of what I
Mark, can you just
Yes, sir.
speak a little louder?
I was going through an experience, and my grandfather was dying at the same time. So to me, that was like someone finishes their cycle, and then another one starts theirs.
Yeah. There's something really beautiful. And even that is a perspective.
Yes.
Even that is is a choice. Even that is you being responsible for how you're seeing it. It's you putting on the glasses that work for you to create that interpretation, to create that story. I'm the chooser choosing, I'm choosing this interpretation. That's beautiful, right? Because you could have just as easily went, oh my God, this stupid train, I was there and I missed my, the passing of my loved one. I mean, you could just as easily have done that. But you chose something different. That's what I'm talking about. Being source. Being it on purpose, because you're always it. We are all always source. But being it on purpose. Like being the chooser choosing the way of being, choosing the perspective. Choosing responsibility as a powerful place to stand, not like a truth. Like a point of view that works. Questions? Comments? Situations you're struggling with?
I really like her view on responsibility and how the person that you are talking to doesn't have a distinction, or is not present, or is in their whatever, then they cannot hear that. And then the added part of what I have a choice of being who I get to be for them to.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yes, very, very good. Excellent. And choosing to be source for something, choosing to be source of how I'm being, such that my doing is creating my having. And it's not so much for them, right? It's not for whoever it is that you're talking to about stepping on the egg or whatever the example is. Like put in, insert any story. All of us have them, right? It's not so much for them, but it's an invitation for us. It's an invitation for us to really own our power, to own that we are the cause. We are the creator. We are God with a little g. We are creating our results. All of it. Good, bad, and ugly. We're creating it. And it's all about how we're interpreting it, the stories that we're telling, who we're choosing to be while we're doing the doing.
So we create our context, not we are.
Human being is only ever context. We choose our way of being. We can consciously choose our way of being. And we are always context, only context. So whatever's showing up in your environment, whatever's showing up in your space, you can choose to be responsible, like I sponsored it, I authored it. What's the lesson here? What's the opportunity here? What's the invitation here? Who do I get to be in this situation? That I have my vision manifest.
It's like a mirror, you're saying yourself when you judge someone or you're telling someone,
Yeah.
something that.
Point a finger at someone, you got 4 of them pointing back at you.
Yeah.
Well, Sandi,
Yeah.
what happens when some terrible disease appears in your environment?
Mhm.
Are you responsible for it?
You can choose to be responsible. Is it the truth? No, but it's a powerful place to stand if you choose to be responsible for it, rather than a victim of it and rather than at mercy of it. Are there people who have, cancer and other things and they choose to be responsible for it and that helps them with their healing and some of them go into remission? Are there there people that do that and create that? All the time. Are there people who say, it's not my fault, it's happening to me, there's nothing I can do about it? Is that bad and wrong? It's their perspective. They may not be choosing it consciously, but it's their perspective. Responsibility is not a truth. Responsibility is not a truth. I mean, I don't want to go off on this tangent on responsibility, but let's take a look. If I have victim over here and responsible or accountable over here, accountable, responsible, hand in hand, I can choose to be anywhere on the spectrum. I can choose to be way over here and go, oh, life is happening to me, nothing I do is ever right, I'm at the mercy of life, I'm at the effect of life, everything is going wrong, there's nothing I'm ever doing life just doesn't work out for me. I can choose to be way over here. Are there people like that? Yeah. Is it bad? Not necessarily, it's where they're standing. Now, are there people who live way over there on the other end? And they go, I'm responsible for everything. I chose my parents. I chose this time-space reality to be born into. I'm responsible for everything that I have and everyone else that's in my space, and I'm responsible for it all. Are there people who live like that? And we're saying you can live anywhere along the spectrum. Anywhere along the spectrum. And whose choice is it? I am the chooser choosing. I am the chooser choosing. I am
Sometimes
source.
I don't like where I am, and I have the ability to change.
Yeah, course correct. Course correct. And do it with a loving voice, Just be like, at your first available opportunity, make the next U-turn.
I understand correctly, we are context, I understand that.
Yes.
We are the environment, I understand that. And to change the context and the environment because we're the chooser choosing, we have to act.
You have to act.
Yes, in order to change things in our environment.
Yes, actions are required. Remember, we can't sit up on top of the mountaintop and just own things into existence with intention only. Not yet. I'm working on it. But action is important. So out of our intention, out of our declaration of who we're being, we take committed actions that are in alignment, that are congruent to what our declaration is, to what our vision is, to what our...
Could we talk about actions and doing, because
Sure.
sometimes we have all the being and wanting to be this and be that.
Yeah, hoping, wishing, and praying by itself.
Yes, but then when we're doing or we're taking the actions, we don't really know how to do those actions. Like, let's say, I'm not a mechanic, I want to fix my car. I have all the intention of being, well, but I'm not being a mechanic, so I can't do it. You're right. Answer my
Did everybody follow his little epiphany he just had? He's like, I would want to fix my own car, but I'm not being a mechanic. I'm not a mechanic, so how can I do what a mechanic does? Now, does that mean that you can't go and learn mechanics, that you can't go and figure all that out, or you can't go and enroll somebody who does know about it to come and show you and do it together? You can still find committed actions that are in alignment, whether you have the skill set or not.
So in order to be, I have to learn.
No.
You need to.
Being is a declaration unto itself. I declare myself to be loving. I declare myself to be kind. I declare myself to be authentic. I declare myself to be powerful. I declare myself to be inspirational. That's a declaration unto itself. I declared it, I'm standing in it, as so it is, and that's that. Now, what's the distinction between fake it till you make it and act as if? Fake it till you make it and act as if. What's the distinction?
Fake it till you make it doesn't mean that you have the beingness. You're gonna do the doing until it becomes a pattern or habit. Where the other one is actually being it and then acting it and having it happen.
Yeah.
Fake it till you make it doesn't seem to get the same result. doing this without the being behind it. So, for instance, in the world of addiction, people will say to someone, you know, if you don't believe you can stay sober, fake it till you make it. And people, I'm not judging, but typically when you watch someone fake it till you make it, it's painful.
It's all here.
It's a lot, they try to do everything that they're told, but their spirit isn't into it, and so they're a lot of times miserable. But then when someone makes a decision that they want to recover, then the doing this and the action, even though they don't necessarily know why they're doing it, they just do it organically and naturally, and then they get the results of like joy and peace and happiness.
Yeah.
What we're talking about?
Absolutely, it's definitely what we're talking about. You said it beautifully. So fake it till you make it is doing, and creating a habit, creating a pattern, somehow hoping, wishing, and praying that something's gonna shift, right? And fake it till you make it is implying fake, which is not authentic, which is not genuine, and beingness is, there's a purity to it, and act as if there's a sincerity in that. There's a trajectory, a momentum that's generated from it that's forward moving. Act as if there's a sincerity in it. It's stepping into it. Maybe I don't have the skill set. Maybe I don't know what I'm gonna do. Maybe I have never done it before in my whole entire life. I have no clue what to do, and yet and still I stand here and powerfully declare, I am this. How many of you have kids? Okay, how many of you have a loved one? A child, a loved one, nieces, nephews? Okay, great. And if they were starving, they had no food, like literally starving, like seriously starving. They hadn't had anything to eat for the longest time. Even if you've never ever and you have no money and you have no resources. Even if you've never ever in your whole entire life had to go out and somehow find a way to get food for them, you would figure it out. How many of you know that people get trapped under a car and moms come up and like lift the car out of nowhere? Like things happen from your declaration, from who you're declaring yourself to be. Things that are unprecedented, things that you wouldn't even have any idea of how. We call them the cursed hows. I've heard them called the cursed hows. Because all we want to do is like have a plan. How is it going to work? I need to know, I need certainty. Being comfortable with uncertainty. That's powerful. That's masterful living. Being okay with not knowing. How many of you have ever been to an intro event? An intro event, like a guest event. For the Chinese? Yeah, and when they talk about the realm of I don't even know what I don't know. You don't even know what you don't know. But if you declare it and you stand in it, and even if I have no idea of how I'm going to get there, I keep taking forward movement, I keep taking forward movement, I keep taking forward movement, I course correct when I notice I'm off, I get support when I need it, I'm going to end up there eventually. Because who I'm being is generating my actions such that I'm having what I have, like gravity, every time this works. It's only when we get caught up in, oh, I have to have this, I need to know how, I need to know why, I need to know when, I need to have the money, I need to have the time, I need to have the support. And in order for me to do anything, in order for me to be happy or have joy, or the joy you seek is yours to create. Source. Questions?
Just to be clear, like you said, you're gonna have the opportunity to prove, when you declare, you make the declaration, I'm open and I'm gonna have, intimacy with, my relationships with my family, friends. And you have the opportunity where people are not being like that, right?
Right.
And it's that challenge, and then you get the chance to look into yourself and say, okay, how am I being that I'm not? You think you're doing everything you can in your power to make everything, right? To be that person, but you still are not there.
Yeah,
So
because
how-
you're dancing in the realm of, I know what I know what I don't know, but but you're not willing to come out of the box and look on the outside where the instructions are. And dance in the realm of, I don't even know what I don't know. And that's where the possibility is. That's where things that you can't even conceive are. That's where innovation is. That's where all things are possible. I don't even know that I don't know. And when I can look at it from that perspective, if I'm committed to creating openness and intimacy in a relationship, that was what you were saying. If I'm committed to that, I get to be open. I get to be intimate. And people don't want to go there.
Sometimes you feel like, in my case,
Like, I'm the only one being it, and I'm not gonna, hello, I gotta have to do this, and it's not reciprocated. I mean, I know.
yeah, so there's expectations, like, yeah, you get to, like, have the standards, right?
Mhm.
Because, it's life.
Yeah.
But then with your expectations probably are, so you're expecting that there's nothing out there to get because you're giving, right? You're giving to a person and you're not expecting anything in return.
Yes.
But subconsciously, like, yes, I am expecting something in return. So-
We get nothing, it's not about what we get from life. It's what we bring to life. Who we're being generates what we have. Always about what we bring to life, it's not what we can get out of life. If I'm committed to having an open and intimate relationship, I'm gonna be open and intimate no matter what.
And then
You've
when
all
you-
done part one, right?
Yeah.
This is about voting black, even in the face of red. This is about choosing 4, even in the face of a 1. This is because I say this is who I am, regardless of what's showing up.
And if it keeps showing up, you still stand for what you declare you are.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Now, do I mean be in a relationship that's not working and stay in it because you're committed to having it happen even though it's just not happening over and over again? Like, I'm not advocating for that either. I mean, you get to have standards and do what works for you and be a space for it to occur and, make your choices. But what I am saying is that if you're wanting that, you get to be that. If I'm wanting something, I get to be it. I get to bring it. I get to create it. I get to create the soil where it can grow. Changing the environment, the context of that relationship. I'm the soil for something new. Does that support you?
Yeah.
All right, great.
So you said forget the how, be. Is what you said, right? Forget the how.
I mean, there's value in planning, don't get me wrong, and,
This plan should know, like, it's coming
well, yeah, I mean, we're all, human beings are creatures of value. We're gonna go where we perceive value. We're interpretations machines, so we're gonna interpret the value to be in one place or another. In order to get from point A to point B and bridge that gap, we're gonna make a plan. It's part of what we do. I'm not saying don't make a plan. I'm saying don't be attached to the plan. I'm saying if I have a plan and it's gonna take me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 steps, and it's gonna be just like an S, and there I go. Woo, and no matter what, I'm on my S, even if it's not working. That's what I'm saying. Stop, look, oh, what's not working? I get to course correct. Maybe it's not an S, maybe now it's a Z. I don't know. But like being open to something being revealed. Does that make sense? Does that support you?
Be comfortable with the uncertainty.
Yes, when you're comfortable with uncertainty, that's mastery. That doesn't mean don't plan. Absolutely plan. Plan meticulously.
I guess the source.
Don't be
My
attached.
question was, I want the source to deliver quicker, and in your experience, what was the quickest way to get it done? Is be, rather than over-focus
Yeah,
on the
and-
how.
And be careful not to make source separate from you. Like there's something in the way you were just speaking that I listened. Like I want source to deliver. You are source. You get to deliver. So I want you to really own the source that you are, the creator that you are, the cause, the birthing, the origin, the author, the God with a little g, the source. You, through being, human beings. We choose our way of being.
Can I ask, why do you know
Doesn't everybody, doesn't everybody want the money and the relationships, and
Yeah.
don't you want it immediately? Isn't there an immediacy about?
Urgency! learning it now and get to create it and don't be attached.
So if it's not happening now, we're source for that. So like,
Absolutely.
I'm declaring something and it's not happening in the now, and I believe that I'm being, then I'm gonna look at my ways of being and has it not happening right now. And Joey was a source movement, has a lot of, if you haven't read it,
Fabulous book, Source
great,
Movement.
a great further discussion on this topic in a way that she writes it in such a simple form that it doesn't get confusing at all.
It's really a fun read. It really puts it in a great perspective.
Source movement.
Source. And she's doing a course, actually, an 8-week online course, I think, currently now too, that you can sign up for. Yeah, check out Facebook and all that. It's definitely worth it.
And then she talks about how, like, if you know, like, even if I'm something happens to me that I don't want to happen, or I don't think that that's something I was looking for, I get to look at my ways of being all the way back. Like, so let's say I declare something, it doesn't happen, and I'm disappointed, it doesn't happen, look at, did I have doubt about it? Did I have some sort of self-limiting belief that this is holding it back, and that became the source? Or that is all source, but.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, I mean, things happen all the time that we don't anticipate. We're surprised by stuff all the time. Tonight, there was supposed to be another trainer intern here to do this portion, source. I was not completely prepared to do the source portion. I was prepared to do the be, do, have. And how did I source that? How did I author that? What's the invitation here? What's the opportunity here? I get to be spontaneous and trust that I know the distinctions and deliver.
You've been very resourceful.
Thank you. Thank you. I hope this has been valuable for you. I really do. I really appreciate you guys coming out. Remember, we have Distinction Mondays every Monday night at 7 p.m. One of us, trainer interns, will be here to deliver, or hopefully two.
Different topics, or?
Different topics. So if you're not on the email list, call the office and get on the email list, or go to the website and get on the email list, and you'll know what the topics are in advance. But this is a win-win. This is a win-win because we get the opportunity to practice, and we're hopefully creating value, and you guys are here.
I loved it, thank you.
I actually think that's
Thank
a
you.
source for you being on the trainer, because last time I was here, when you did do responsibility, accountability, victim, Susie was sick.
Yes.
You were the only person to train all night, so I think I'm the author of you being my trainer for distinction.
I can make up all kinds of things, but let me tell you, the last few times that I've done Distinction Mondays, I've had to do them, I've gotten to do them alone. And I've gotten to trust myself and be creative, and it's been wonderful, so.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll see you at part 2, I'm gonna look for you.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, give me a hug. Yay. Always a pleasure, sweetheart. Thank you. Thank you.
Good night.
Appreciate it.
Good to meet you guys.
Have a good night, you guys. See you next week.
Gotta go to church.
I'll see you Thursday. Thank you. I didn't mean to say, did you put me off? It looks like you did.
Yes.
Oh, no worries, no worries.
I'm gonna get here early and actors, so that we can be ready at 4:15, so maybe even 6:30.
Yeah, just
time
to
to-
practice.
Don't forget to dress up, even Sky.
Yeah, so we're not just doing my dress.
Business professional.
This is professional.
Yeah, so.
And show up powerfully.
Powerful business professional. Okay.
You get to staff. Take care, everybody.
Thank you. Is it 39? Yeah. I'm gonna have to